Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In case you don't know, my name is Val. I am the Happy Lifter. I know there's a lot of new people on this channel in the past maybe month or so, hi, welcome. In case the title of this video did not tip you off, we're going to talk about your goals today, and the reason for that is because we're reaching the end of November, we're reaching the end of the year, and we're getting close to New Year's, and of course people are going to start thinking about New Year's resolutions. I'm starting to think about my own resolutions, and I thought this would be the perfect time for you to start planning for those, because you don't want to just be making resolutions kind of off the cuff when your friends ask you. You want to be making resolutions, setting goals that mean something to you. So today I want to talk to you about how I do things and how I plan my goals so that you can have an idea of how to do it and maybe, be able to guide you through the process, because it's not something that comes easy to everyone. And I'm one of those people who are very goal-oriented. If I don't have a goal in mind, if I don't have a finish line, and obviously it's a moving target, but if I don't have something that I'm working towards, I get very, very lost. I feel kind of bored, kind of pointless. I need a sense to my life, and I know a lot of people feel that way, but they don't necessarily know where to start. So if you're one of those people, you're in luck, because today I'm going to teach you how I set my goals. So of course, the process starts maybe at the end of November or December for me, because that's when I start thinking back on my year and reflecting on what I've achieved, what I've accomplished, maybe the things that didn't go as planned or the things that went really well, and I start kind of celebrating those milestones and thinking about what I can do in the next year that would be even more awesome than the last year. So the first thing I do is I start looking at my pain points. I don't like calling them pain points, but sometimes they're things that just annoy the fuck out of you. The things that are recurring pains in the ass. Those things, they come back in mind. Maybe you don't like your job, maybe you feel fat constantly and you're like, man, my pants don't fit. Whatever it is, it could be positive, it could be negative, something that comes back. Something that just bothers you, that you're like, I'm sure I could do better, I'm sure I could, just make my life better. Maybe you're thinking I could turn my life around. Whatever it is that, is really kind of constantly top of mind for you, or maybe just in the back of your mind that creeps up when you go to sleep at night, make a list of those things. Just list them, write them down. Don't be afraid, don't be ashamed. This is an exercise to improve your quality of life. Now, with that list in front of you, I want you to make a list on the other side of the paper of your desired outcomes for those pain points, or those things that just come to the top of your mind when you think, I want to change my life. Now, those desired outcomes, don't put limits on them yet. The reason for that is you want to think big. You don't want to think small. You don't want to put barriers on your brain just yet. We're going to do that later. We can be realistic later. Right now, you want to think about the best possible outcome. Now that you have the two lists, I want you to make another list of the actions that could take you from the pain points or the things that you want to change to your best possible outcomes, no matter how crazy they might seem. But there's one thing I want you to do with that list. I want you to think about what you're willing to do. Not actions that are crazy, things that you're actually willing to do, willing to commit to, that you really, really think you can actually make happen in your daily life. This is really important. This is the reality setting in. This is the filter of reality that you're gonna put in front of your goals. Okay, now's the time for that reality filter to really kick in. You're gonna look at your actions and you're gonna say, do these match up with my best possible outcomes? Because, like it or not, your level of commitment is going to describe and affect what your outcome is going to be. If you're not committed enough to take the actions necessary to get to the best possible outcome, you're just not going to get there. That's reality for you. But whatever you're willing to commit to, whatever action you know for sure you can make happen, that is going to directly translate into a specific outcome. So now you're going to need to balance those things and adjust your expectations. And just so you know, it's not a bad thing that the actions don't match up with the best possible outcome, because remember, I told you, don't put limits on the outcomes just yet. The limits come from your level of commitment. And it's possible that those things don't match up, and that's okay. Some people are just not willing to commit all of their time to going to the gym, or they have children, they have jobs, they have things that mean that they will not get the body of a CrossFit Games athletes, sorry. But they can still have an expectation of having a kick-ass body anyway because it's completely doable. It's just that the level of commitment is going to be different. And I also want you to remember, and please don't take this the wrong way, but sometimes we have limitations in commitment that are completely temporary. So maybe right now you can't get that CrossFitter body or you can't change jobs, but later on you'll be able to. And so these goals are really kind of in the short term. You're thinking yearly maybe even for 6 months. You're setting goals for a little bit at a time. So it's okay if you don't have that commitment right now. Maybe you'll work up to it. That's a very big possibility. So now that you've matched up your actions with your level of commitment and your outcomes, make sure that you're not reducing any of those actions or your expectations for goals to a point where they're too small. You don't want to dream small. That doesn't serve you. Why? Because if it's too easy, you're going to be bored. And also, you're not going to be satisfied once you reach that goal because it wasn't even hard in the first place. You kind of just knew you had it. So you're going to have to make yourself work a little bit. And that's all about being self-aware. Maybe you're not that self-aware. Maybe you're going to have to do some trial and error. That happens. But once you know what you're capable of, just set the bar a little higher. Because remember, setting goals is about fulfillment. And if you don't feel fulfilled, what's the point? So now that you have your actions and you have your outcomes, maybe you're planning for the whole year, maybe you're planning for 6 months, whatever it is, now's the time to break them down into smaller portions, smaller achievable portions, so that you can set a timeline for yourself for that amount of time. Maybe by next year you want to change jobs. Okay, so what do you do in the next 6 months? What do you do in the next 3 months? What's feasible? What can you do? Write down some more actions. Make a timeline for yourself. Use a calendar if you have to. Basically, you can make a timeline with the most or the least details that you want. This is up to you. Some people like a lot of details, some people need a lot of direction, and some people like to wing it. They just need that item at the finish line that they need to reach, and then they're fine. Basically, whatever floats your boat, it's all good. But the one thing that you need to remember if you do go into details like weekly or monthly is the fact that that doesn't leave a lot of room for error or for life to happen. Shit happens. People get sick, people lose jobs, people just get health issues that they didn't even plan for. They get concussions. So make sure that you're not planning to a point where you don't have any flexibility to live your life and just be a human, because that happens. Hearts get broken. Just anything that might go wrong could go wrong. So keep that in mind when you're planning. Give yourself some leeway, because we all know that whenever shit happens hard. And then all plans go out the window, and then you just don't even think about your goals anymore. So if you plan for having some shit happen, chances are you're gonna stick to your plan a lot more. So that's how I plan for my goals, for my New Year's resolutions. In a nutshell, I don't want to give you a super long course. I don't want to give you a super long story that you're probably not going to watch. So here it is, small version. But let me know in the comments if you have some goals that you want to reach, or if you're having trouble setting goals, or if you're having trouble sticking to them, because that's a common issue. It's probably the one thing that I get asked the most. How do I stick to it? How do I stick to a new routine? How do I reach my goals? How do I stay motivated? So those are all things that I want to help you with, and that I can help you with, because I'm that type of person. And I'd like to know, if you don't mind, tell me in the comments if you'd be interested in me giving you either a live stream where I give you more tips, or maybe an online course that I could send you the link to that you could listen to, or maybe even some one-on-one coaching. I could probably do that as well. So let me know in the comments what you'd be interested in, what would help you the most. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing, for my new subscribers. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up down below. I will see you next week, guys. Bye!
Oh, this you crazy mother.